For parents raising kids during the years between preschool and adolescence, it can be a gray area. Knowing how and what to focus on for your child might be a little confusing. That's where Dr. Ziegler comes in. She has created a roadmap for any adult supporting children in what she calls the crucial years. In part 2 of our conversation, we're talking about mental health, technology, and how parents can stay connected in a fast-changing world. The exposure to certain topics that I think parents previously had a lot more control over managing, and now we really don't. When you see how often screens are implemented in the classroom now in a means of teaching and education, it only becomes second nature when a kid comes home to want to pick up a screen to entertain and continue that. And then therefore you're opening this world of new things that they're exposed to that maybe their little brains just don't have the opportunity to fully understand completely what it means. But then as parents now, I'm finding myself being called to the table to have to explain some pretty advanced stuff to my kid that I feel really shouldn't be in her world yet, right?
You're absolutely right. And so I know, there's moms listening of all, have kids of all different ages, but I want to put into perspective that first and foremost, your child's first social media exposure probably starts by the age of 2, and that's YouTube. And so don't mistake in YouTube for just another streaming network or anything like that. It is social. It is comments, likes, an algorithm, a rolling kind of, feed in which as soon as you're done with that one video, it rolls right to the next.
Instant gratification.
So for a perfect example, over the weekend, I was watching, purposefully a YouTube video with my son, who's in middle childhood. And the second it was done, it actually rolled into some current events that are going on right now with things happening in LA and things happening with different feelings about politics. And it was instant. There was no stopping it. It was like it happened before both of our eyes. And therefore, he watched maybe 10, 15 seconds of it. We paused it. And now we're in a full discussion around geopolitical kinds of issues when we were just laughing and watching, kind of a silly YouTube video. And that's the way it happens. And parents really need to understand that's what your kid is exposed to on a daily basis.
Let's also talk about the psychological aspect of all of that together.
You really need to be ready and prepared to look for signs of any kind of mental health distress. We have now 1 in 5 kids that have a diagnosable mental health condition in the crucial years. So that means things like depression and anxiety and ADHD. Those are the 3 leading kinds of diagnoses that we see in this age range. And so now you don't need to be a therapist, but you do need to know at least the basic signs of all 3 of those categories so that you can have those conversations with your kid. Or if there's a family history, we now know how strongly genetics plays a role. And so you talk to them about that family history, which might be really different from the way you were raised. So between social media and mental health and earlier puberty, parents kind of do need to show up a lot more open and probably a little bit more educated than in past generations, just to be able to respond to and hopefully prevent. That's what this book is really in the spirit of, prevent some of the things that we see happening in adolescence.
I know you also talk a lot about, self-identity, how we're seeing, younger kids really starting to question, sexual identity, self-identity, what that looks like, having those conversations with your kids at a younger age, to, exposure to drugs at a young age, eating disorders. There's just a number of topics that I think majority of parents would consider that's for the later years that we need to start having now, and why it's important to have those now. And you cover it all in your book. Dr. Ziegler, I would love to talk to you much deeper at length. So I look forward to carrying this conversation on. But for now, though, where can our viewers go to get a copy of this book?
The Crucial Years can be found anywhere books are sold, online on Amazon, at your local bookseller, at a library, at just anywhere that books are sold. This book is there for you, and I'm so excited for everyone to read it.
If you want to hear even more from the Mom Matters conversation, you can just head on over to KTVB Plus to watch our full-length streaming series of Mom Matters. Each episode digs even deeper into the topics that you care about with exclusive content you won't find on TV. It's honest conversation, powerful stories, and practical advice made by moms for moms. So start streaming now only on KTVB Plus. We'll be back with more Idaho Today in just 2.5 minutes.